Hey, my name is Aries, and this channel was about documenting my journey to get fit-ish. I recently have had to take a very large break, both mentally and physically. Making videos is very time consuming. It takes a lot of effort, work, planning, editing, putting together, all of it. And I haven't had the time to dedicate to that. And I also just haven't had the mental space to deal with the rude or unwanted comments afterwards. A lot has been going on, so I'd like to update you on what's been going on. The last you saw me, if you watched my last video, I was preparing to go in for surgery. In June, I had my gallbladder removed, and then it was just a big cliffhanger. So, surprise, I'm alive and well. Sorry about that. I actually did film a video post-surgery, but I just didn't have the energy or capacity to edit it and put it out. But basically it was just me explaining that the surgery went well and that I was recovering slowly but surely. I had originally thought before going into surgery that I was going to be able to like walk every day and be all active and continue on with the journey and blah, blah, blah. No, I had zero energy at all. Like even just doing a grocery shop, I would need to recover for like 4 or 5 hours and take a nap, and like I had nothing to give. I am feeling better now. I was off work for about 6 weeks with that because I couldn't lift more than 10 pounds, and my job requires me to do much more than that. So I was off for 6 weeks. I recovered as best as possible, and then I slowly worked myself back into work. And with that came less time and more, day-to-day life and whatnot. On top of all of that, I also got married. So I've got a new last name and I have a husband now, which is crazy. And although life doesn't feel any different, it is still pretty cool to say like my husband and whatnot. So we got married back in September out in Banff, Alberta, Canada. We took just our wedding party with us, and it was more of an elopement than a wedding, and it was absolutely perfect. The weather was fantastic, and we just actually got our video back from the videographer, so I will put a link in the description below if you want to go over to their channel. They have their own, channel that they put the videos up, so if you want to watch my wedding video, feel free to go over to his page and check that out. I'll also link it up here. We just got that back, and on this previous weekend we held a reception for our friends and family that couldn't or we didn't have room to bring out west with us. So we had a wonderful wedding reception. Nothing went to plan, but it all turned out okay, and I ended up having a great night, and most people have said that they also had a great night. So we also had a photographer for that, and obviously a photographer for out west. So I'll post some pictures when I get them, and here are just some sneak peeks from the photographer out west from the actual wedding day. So now that all of that is behind me, I can focus a little bit more on the channel again, which I have missed very much. I miss, having a purpose and having a drive and having a reason and making videos. I do enjoy making videos. So I'm excited to get back into it. That being said, I've been postponing making this video because I kept thinking oh, it has to be perfect. The lighting has to be right, and the background has to be good, and my hair, I want to be fresh out of a shower but not with wet hair, and my makeup has to be done, and I don't want to do it right after a workout, and I just wanted everything to be a good video because it's been so long, and the video just wasn't being made. So here I am. Hair probably needs a wash. I have zero makeup on. I literally just spent all my morning grocery shopping and cooking up a fresh made soup. And here I am. Because if I don't just do it, it's not going to get done. And then I'm just going to keep pushing it down the road and down the road, down the road. And the longer I don't make videos, the harder it is to get back into it. So this is me. Deal with it. Okay, so you're probably wondering, okay, what's going on? So the biggest thing is in my last couple videos, I did go over the fact that I had been struggling with my family doctor. I had reached out to a naturopath doctor, and I was trying to get answers. The gallbladder issues sprung up. Let me take you back. I haven't felt myself in years. Definitely not since the miscarriage. That was back in the fall, so late August, early September of 2021. I had the miscarriage, and I haven't felt myself since then. Since then, I have struggled with weight. At best, I've been able to maintain, but usually there's a spike up, and then I'll be able to get back down to that maintenance number. And that maintenance, which I didn't want to be maintaining, but that number that I just couldn't get away from, it was either, 10 pounds up or 5 pounds under, but I was basically at 245 for 2 years. And that is extremely frustrating when you're putting in time and effort and you're trying all the things. You're working out, you're eating right, you're counting your calories, you're working with health professionals. My husband was helping with everything. I was diligently trying it all, and nothing was working. And then just as I started to see the slightest bit of improvement, my gallbladder started acting up. And that was after a trip to Mexico in the end of April, first week of May. So on my last couple days on the trip, I think I picked up food poisoning or something, because I was having an awful time in the washroom the night before when I was trying to pack up. And if I ate anything, everything was out. So I didn't end up eating anything to be able to fly home because I didn't want any, plane issues, not being able to get into a washroom. That happened for the first couple days, and that never went away. Then I started getting the gallbladder attacks where it was extreme, painful, attacks, and I ended up in the hospital a couple different times, not admitted, but into the emergency room. They did testing, they did an ultrasound, and they determined eventually that it was probably best if I got my gallbladder out. So I had the surgery to get my gallbladder out on June 19th. And like I said earlier, for 6 weeks of recovery. But all throughout this, I'm still having issues with diarrhea. I know, TMI, but guess what? We're all human and we all poop. So that's still happening. I was going to a naturopath, trying to get it sorted through them. I was even seeing my psychologist at the time, and even he was trying to help me with different ideas and stuff. I was literally grabbing at any possible resource available to me, and nothing was helping. So a friend of mine recently, they decided to start seeing a naturopath outside of like knowing that I was doing it or whatnot. And there's somebody that's also kind of struggled with their weight over the years. And, you know, he was able to do those super restrictive diets of like chicken and broccoli and chicken and broccoli and broccoli and chicken with broccoli and like nothing else. So I cannot do those. And he would, you know, see some success, but then you can only do that for so long. And it just seemed like everything that he was doing wasn't working. So he went to this naturopath doctor. The doctor ran an entire like blood panel called a healthy living panel. And through that, he found out that his body can't process salt. So all of the salt that, you know, and he loves doing stir fries and whatever, soy sauce. The amount of salt that's in the soy sauce is more than a person's daily allowance. And he was doing that every day. And his body can't process salt. So he was holding on to water weight because of all the salt that was in his system. So within like literally days of finding this out and cutting out salt, boom, dropping weight. He's feeling fantastic. He's got more energy, whatever. So he calls me up and he's like, Aries, you need to go and see this guy. He was amazing. He used to be a medical doctor. Now he's a naturopath. So he's got a good mix of both. And he understands that medication is good in some situations, but, you know, tries to keep it natural. And I'm like, that's exactly what I want. That's what I think all of our healthcare should be. It should be a good balance between natural remedies and medical intervention. Unfortunately, it's not. It's one or the other, but this guy is right down the middle. So I was like, okay, sounds great. So I start seeing this guy and I get the healthy living panel myself. And I also get a food sensitivities panel. There's a lot of controversy around food sensitivities panel, and I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I did it and I went with it. He also explained that there was controversy around it, but that it was most of the time it's worth the shot. So I am at my wit's end right now for 2 years, going on 3 years of struggling with the exact same weight, doing everything possible. And I decided, I don't care. It's going to cost me $375 for this panel. But if it gives me even one answer or one bit of hope, it's worth it. So I did both, and my blood work came back, and I was elevated in certain areas, you know, like inflammation, which is probably explained by the fact that I had just went through surgery and my body's still trying to heal. And, you know, little things like not at pre-diabetes, but like risk of being at a risk, you know, kind of thing. Like, so there's just little things, but nothing that was like glaringly like, you can't process salt. And I remember texting my friend being like, my stupid body can process stupid salt. Because I really, really thought like, maybe it's just something like that we're missing, you know? Like, what if it's just that one little thing that like nobody's thought to check? And if I'm doing all of this effort, there's gotta be something more than I'm not trying hard enough, because I'm trying. I have been trying, and I will continue to try. So the blood work comes back, not a whole lot to go with that. So we wait, and my wedding goes September, we come home, and then I finally get my food sensitivities back. And boy, oh boy, turns out I am very reactive to a lot of things. So the game plan was cut out everything. So the food gets separated into like reds, oranges, and greens. And so reds are like highly affected. Your body does not do well with these. Oranges are like not great, but you can maybe do a little bit here and there, but you probably should avoid it. And then greens are like, go at it. Your body loves this. So my doctor said, let's cut out all red and all orange for at least 3 weeks, see how that goes. So for me, the main ticket items on that are cutting out all cow dairy. So cheese, milk, butters, all of that. Eggs are still allowed, but I was also highly reactive to egg whites, so I cut out eggs as well. He did say I was allowed to do goat's cheese and goat's products, as well as like buffalo and sheep, but those are far harder to find. So I've been doing the goat stuff. I had to sow all dairy that isn't goats. I had to cut out all gluten. Now, he himself said he doesn't like telling people to go gluten-free unless it's like clearly evident that you need to go gluten-free. And with me, he's like, I can't let you eat gluten, because every single type of like source of gluten was like off the charts. So when we were going through things, basically it's like, 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. And anything at the 25 mark, it was like eat in moderation, like once or two times a week. Anything below 25, you're good to go. Anything above 25, cut it out. All of the things that had gluten were 75 or above. Every single one. Like, just off the charts. So he's like, okay, I need you to go gluten-free. Okay. Then what was strange was my body is also super reactive to gluten alternatives like rice and potatoes and corn and yeah. So I had to cut all of those out as well. So basically for carbs, I am allowed to have quinoa, sweet potatoes, millet, and that's about it, other than like broccoli and cauliflower and the other types of carbs. But yeah, not a lot there. There was also random things like oranges came up really high, and tomatoes I have to be extremely moderate with, and just certain things. So 3 weeks go by and I have cut out all of the foods. So 3 weeks have gone by and I've cut out all of, as best as possible. I mean, there's also a bunch of nuts, like I can't do almonds and, maybe I'll pop them up on the screen, but it doesn't matter because it's me personally, and what I'm sensitive to isn't going to help you because each person is different and whatnot. But I cut out everything as best as possible. It's really hard when I had to cut out as many things as I did. And so typically if you go gluten-free, you think to go to the products and it was like, oh, gluten-free. But I can't do that because most of those are done with rice or potato or corn or whatnot. So I really had to hone things in and cook very, very carefully. And I can't tell you, I'm still in disbelief at how different I feel. Throughout all of this, in the last 2, maybe even 3 years, I have suffered from heartburn on top of everything else. Debilitating from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, and so severe that it wakes me up or keeps me from sleeping. I had to sleep on one side only. I would have to prop up an arm so that I wasn't concaving my chest. Products didn't help, like DGL chews, which is a natural kind of chew. Even just Pepto-Bismol, that kind of stuff, it did not help. And I have been suffering with that for, like I said, 3 years, and if not longer. Almost immediately after cutting out all these foods, actually it was immediately, literally the same day. So that day that I went and did my appointment, I had my normal Tim Hortons tea on the way to the appointment, and it had my milk and sweetener in it. And then he told me I needed to cut out all milk. And so from that point forward, it was all gone. I stopped having my teas and everything. And that night was the first night that I hadn't had heartburn in as long as I can remember. And that continued. I haven't had heartburn since starting this, and we're now a month and a week in, maybe a bit more. And that alone has been like life changing. So that was huge. Almost immediately within like the first week, my bowel movements stopped being diarrhea and started hardening up and becoming less frequent, which is again life changing, because I had been suffering with diarrhea from May until mid-September, which is a long time to be dealing with that, to know that you had to eat something before leaving the house because within half an hour you were needing a bathroom, like violently needing a bathroom. And I know that this is graphic and crazy, but if this helps even one person, then I don't want to hold back details. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to make it seem like it was better than it was. I was suffering. So within a week, that had started to change and improve. And now being, a month and a bit in, I can honestly say that it's incredible. I have a couple loose movements every once in a while, but who doesn't? We're human. Now I'm back to like basically normal, which is incredible. The biggest thing is, well, not biggest because these are all huge, but another big thing that I noticed was I had energy again. There was one day where I woke up maybe about 2 weeks into doing this, and I got up. It wasn't like a groggy, like my alarm went off and I want to continue sleeping. It was alarm went off. I got up, I got dressed. I went to the gym. I worked out. I came home. I cleaned the house. I cooked a meal. I was just boom, 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 go, 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 go. And I was like still looking for stuff to do. And I was like, who am I? I didn't realize how exhausted I have been for the last 3 years. I had no energy. I was so lethargic, and I could make myself go to the gym and work out, but as soon as I came home, all I wanted to do was sit on the couch until it was time to go to work again. Like I had nothing to give. Nothing. And no wonder I was so tired after my surgery, because I had nothing to give on a good day, let alone when my body is repairing itself and have just gone through, an entire organ being removed from it. I had nothing. And now, since cutting out these foods, like I can't believe how much energy I have. I sleep so much better. I'm waking up and not needing to take a nap in the middle of the day. I'm able to like go throughout the day until like the end of the night. I come home, I go back to sleep. It's like good, solid sleep. And I just have all of this energy, and my body feels alive. And I didn't even realize I didn't feel this way before, because I'd been dealing with it for so long. And it's just wild to me that I just felt so shitty and didn't even realize it wasn't normal. So I'm dealing with a ton of energy now. Now, something also interesting is for the reception that we just had this past weekend, I went against my, recommendations, and I was having some ciders because I only do this once. And ciders are good because like it's not the yeast that like would be in a beer, which would be gluten. Not yeast. It doesn't have like the wheat like gluten in a beer. So I was picking something better than doing beer, but it still had yeast, and I'm reactive to yeast as well. So my doctor had said like maybe have one or two, but maybe switch to hard liquor throughout the night. But I just love a cider. So I decided, you know what, it's one night, I'm just going to do it. I still feel like groggy and like bogged down, and it's Wednesday today. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's now into Wednesday. So like 4 days since having those ciders, and I'm still like, I can tell that it's taken a hit on my system and my energy, and I feel groggy from putting that into my system, which is wild. So yeah, so I've had the improvement. I've had the improvement with the heartburn, with the energy, with my sleep, with my bowel movements, and there was something else, and now I can't remember. We're good. I feel so much better. Oh, my headspace. So I've always kind of struggled with like anxiety and depression, but I think it goes along with having more energy. My mind is in a much like brighter, happier place, and that's fantastic. I'm also regulating, like, my hormones feel like they're regulating again, and it's mind-boggling. So I'm going to continue doing this. My doctor wants me to do it for at least another month long. What's nice is you can, like, down the line, I could do this food sensitivity again, and I could eventually be able to eat, oranges again, or gluten again, or whatever it may be. It's just that right now, whatever my body's going through, most likely it picked something up in Mexico and it set things off and just put things into like hyperactive mode, and it hasn't been able to process or deal with anything. So eventually, if I avoid everything for long enough, my body can heal, and then I'll be able to eat some of these things again in moderation. So for right now, things are pretty restrictive, but we're getting around it. So, I can still do things like the salmon salad that I used to do. I found like a red lentil and quinoa pasta, which is honestly better than pasta that I used to have before. I don't think I would ever go back to normal pasta after this. I just made a roasted red pepper soup today. So like even just doing like, quinoa with, I did like these Greek quinoa bowls. So it was like Greek, chicken breasts with olives and goat's feta and a little bit of tomatoes and, red onion, on top of quinoa with like this dressing, like homemade dressing. Oh my God, they were so good. So just doing like things like that, or, just a meat, like a chicken breast with sweet potatoes and asparagus or broccoli on the side. So there is still a lot of options. It felt like at first that I was like, I had nothing available to eat, but it just takes a little bit more time and planning, and going out is a lot harder. And I can't buy like pre-made products, because a lot of it is, either filled with gluten or the gluten alternatives that I can't have. Yeah. Oh, the other thing is, okay, so for my wedding, I ended up being up to 248 point something on my wedding day. It was a struggle getting my dress on, nearly had a breakdown, but it's fine. Since doing this, I am down to 232 point, I think it was 6. Yeah. So like I'm seeing an improvement in my weight. I'm seeing an improvement in my energy, my digestive, my heartburn, my mental state. Like, there isn't anything that hasn't improved by doing this. And part of me gets really frustrated that this wasn't like dealt with sooner, or somebody else didn't bring this up sooner. But at the end of the day, at least it started now. I'm sorry. I just keep remembering all these things that like have improved, like the swelling, like my hands aren't as swollen. I can move my rings and get them off. And like, it's just wild. I'm sure like there's still a ton of things that I'm missing, and I'm honestly in such a better place mentally, because I just feel better. So I have been able to get into Orange Theory quite often and frequent lately. We're going into Hell Week right now, so I am participating in that. I have to do at least 4 of the 8 classes to get my shirt, and yeah, I'm going to start just really diving into it now that the like stress of planning and everything is gone. And I just wanted to update you guys on what's going on, where I've been, and kind of finally some little bit of success in getting my life back on track. So I'm sorry I was gone for so long. Thank you to everyone who reached out to me on Instagram or through comments, hoping I was doing okay and asking if I was coming back. Again, I'm sorry that I had been gone for so long, but I'm thankful that you have stayed supportive and stuck with me through the lows. So yeah, that'll be it for today because I've rambled on for far longer than I thought I would. But yeah, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic week, and I will see you all soon. Bye.